What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex. I'm joined by Christine. We're here to review Game of Thrones Season 8, Episode 3. This is going to be a spoiler-filled review. We're going to talk about the biggest things, the deaths in this week's episode. So if you guys don't want to get spoiled, turn away now. I'm going to let Christy go first, and then I'm going to give my impressions and discuss what we thought of this week's episode.
Man, that battle was intense, but not as intense as I thought it would be. I really hyped up this episode so much, and for starters, let me just say, where the heck did Ghost go? He ran off and he didn't come back. And is that really what they're gonna let it be? He just ran off and died? Is that it? We got to see Ghost for 2 seconds and then he ran off, and at the end there's Ghost's story. That's pathetic. I get that you have a budget for dragons, but come on. The last direwolf, not including Nymeria, I know she's out there somewhere, but that's the last direwolf, and that's what you're going to do with it? Just run it off and not even let it kill anything? That's pathetic. There's so many things, I just can't even, there's so many main key things. One of them, Theon. I said you were going to die in my theory video. I knew you were going to die, but it was still really sad, and the way he died, I hated. He took down so many of the whites all around. He did so awesome. And then he charged at the Night King and instantly got stabbed. I mean, he couldn't even stab him once, anything, you know? Maybe took down one of his minions, something. But instead, he just charged at him and then dead. But at the same time, I liked the way they ended it. He got to say goodbye. In that moment, Bran looked at him and was like, thank you. It was kind of a, now go die. So Bran literally brought Theon there to die for him and buy time until Arya made it to him. That's the whole thing, which sucks. You know, I really wanted him to have more. Then another big death was Jorah. My man, he went down fighting, and it was just literally the coolest moment of the show was Jorah and Dany fighting on that battlefield. She picked up a sword and she swung it around. Well, sword, dagger, I don't really know what she had, but she had something, and she was stabbing all kinds of whites and everything. And Jorah, he went down like a champ. The person who did literally the least amount of anything that made me just the most upset was Jon. Jon, what were you doing? You did nothing this episode. Honestly, you did nothing. You were the most useless character today out of everyone, including Sam. Sam at least died on a pile. Well, no, he didn't die. Sam at least fought on a pile of bodies, you know? He took down a lot of them. Jon, he flew with his dragon, and then he couldn't see and landed his dragon on the wall. And then when they were trying to light the trenches that he was literally sitting beside, he just sat there. He couldn't even light the trenches for them? No, apparently not. He just sat there. And then when it came to the battle, the Night King is literally going after Daenerys on her dragon, and Jon got knocked down a little bit and he couldn't control himself, and that was pretty much it. You know, at the time the Night King is going after Daenerys, he could have flipped around and went after the Night King at that moment. But no, he just kind of left it. And then when he ran inside the walls, Sam is literally dying. He doesn't even stop because he wants to get to Bran. But then he sees the dragon, you know, breaking down walls and stuff. And he's like, oh, but I got time to stop for this dragon. I think I could face a dragon. And then he doesn't. He just yells at it. He runs up to the dragon and goes, ah, and then nothing. He didn't even try to stab it, didn't throw his sword into the dragon. He just stood there. So Jon, I don't know what you were doing, but you had to be the most useless character today. And guys, I told you the crypt was not safe. So there's that theory confirmed. And a lot of people thought that they would bring back dead characters like Ned and, you know, the mom and everyone, but they did not. The person that I recognized that they brought back was the Maester, and that was sad. That was really sad. Of all the people they brought back, it was him. But, you know, it was a crazy moment, and that Tyrion and Sansa moment where they held hands and were like, we're going out together. That was beautiful. I like that, you know, I like the scene of them coming together and everything. Ed dying, that was horrible. It made me really mad at Sam because dang it, Sam, you got someone else killed because they were too busy saving your life. You did that to Pip, now you did it to Ed. Sam, for the love of God, just get up and go. So, Ed, man, you took it like a champ at least. You went out hard. And Beric, man, Melisandre was not even nice when he died. She was like, well, he served his Lord's purpose and now he's dead. That's it. The end. Move on. You know, she saw him and he was dead, and that was crazy and intense. And that pretty much wraps up. I mean, this episode was crazy, but I wanted more. I really wanted more, and I really am sad for losing the characters we lost, but I don't think it was very impactful. None of them were, I mean, besides Theon and Jorah, none of them were huge, and I wanted them to be bigger names, you know, Jon dying, or even Sansa, or even Arya, but they weren't. And Arya taking down the Night King. I don't know. I liked that moment a lot. I really liked it. But should she have been the one? I don't think so. I don't think Arya had been gearing up for that, but it happened. So that's my summary. I have a lot more I want to say, but at the same time, what can you say besides wow? Just, I wish it was more, but it was a great episode.
Yeah, I thought this episode actually had quite a lot of problems that I didn't really like. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, in the grand scheme of the battle, it was really awesome, okay? And the battle itself was really cool. I liked the dynamic kind of jumping around. I liked that it took place in like 4 different waves, right? They sent all the Dothraki out to go get basically massacred. Then they kind of fell back. Then they fell back again. They fell back again. That was cool. That was really cool. The Arya inside, basically any Arya scene I thought was really awesome, with the Hound inside the castle. Any of that stuff was cool. But besides like the grand scheme of the battle, I feel like this episode just had a lot of problems where maybe I was the same thing as Christy. Maybe I was hyping it up too much, but losing Jorah and losing Theon weren't enough for me. I'm okay with Arya being the one to kill. I thought that was the best part maybe of the episode, is her being able to kill the Night King. I think that was fine. I don't really have a problem with that. But the fact that we didn't lose the main characters beyond those two, and the fact that the battle kind of like became like cartoony, I feel like that's the word I want to use, is cartoony, because you had like a lot of impact, and you had a lot of kind of like darkness. Like you knew very bad things were going to happen. We've been expecting people to die for so long. We kind of went into this episode knowing a lot of people were going to die and they were going to lose basically everyone. But then it kind of got back to the trope of like leaving our heroes facing off against unmeasurable odds and not dying. So while Jorah died from like 6, 7, 8 stab wounds protecting Daenerys, which that was really awesome. Daenerys wielding the sword and fighting, that was really awesome. Sam, meanwhile, is being just massacred by like thousands of whites just jumping on him. He's literally like screaming and crying, and Jon walks right by him, and none of them get any like stabs on them. Brienne, she got stabbed like 1,000 times, I thought, and they kept kind of leaving it open to like, well, there's just going to be like 30 on her, and then she's eventually going to die. So I just feel like it kind of got cartoony, where like Jaime, Podrick, Brienne, Sam, all these kind of people were just getting massacred, and they weren't going to die. And at some point of the episode, I kind of felt like I know they're not going to die, so I stopped worrying about them. And I feel like one of the biggest things Game of Thrones has ever done, and what it's so special at doing, is making you worried that at any given moment you're going to lose any given character. And losing Theon and Jorah weren't enough for me to be like, yeah, you've proven that this biggest fight with the biggest stakes, with the most at stake, you only killed 2 characters. I wasn't worried. Jon, yeah, I agree with Christy. I have no idea what they did to that character in this episode. He was about as useless as any character has ever been in this entire show. So I don't really understand that. Overall, I mean, was it a good episode? Like, I want to say it was good, but just good. Like, I'd give it like a 7 out of 10. I don't think this episode came through on like its biggest promise. The fight was big in scale, and the fight was big in length, and the fight was big with action sequences and CGI and all those big time moments. I liked the crypts. I liked all of the crypt scenes. That's when I felt most scared that those characters could die, you know, because they really have nothing to protect themselves. I was most worried about Varys. Varys is my favorite character, so I was most worried about the characters in the crypts, and they were the ones that I think the episode kept me worrying about. Like I was saying, eventually I just knew Brienne wasn't going to die. I just felt that there's no way they can kill her based on the cartoony nature of what they were doing. But the crypts people, I always felt that was the case. So I do like what they did with the crypts. There were definitely some amazing moments in this episode, for sure. One of the biggest questions I feel like people are going to ask, though, was like, did the Night King like do enough? Like, was he a sinister enough villain? Did like, you know, he kind of went out without any problem whatsoever. Like, I just feel like they let the ball drop on a lot of the biggest things that this episode had going for it, that I feel like I don't know if it's going to haunt them in the next 3 episodes. But we have 3 episodes left, so we're going to be reviewing each episode as they go up, and we're also going to have a theory video every single Tuesday, again leading to the next episode. So in 2 days we will be having a theory video talking about episode 4 of Game of Thrones. And if you guys want to go back and watch any of the past seasons, any of the past episodes of Game of Thrones, we have a link in the description below. It's a Fandango Now affiliate link. If you click that, if you buy or rent something through that, it helps us out on the channel. But you can go back and you can watch any of the old Game of Thrones episodes. They're all there for you. You can rent, buy them. You can link your Fandango points if you get the VIP points when you go see a movie. If you guys saw Avengers Endgame, you can earn points there, and you can use them, you can redeem them on Fandango Now when you rent or buy movies or TV shows. So it's a nice little thing you can do with linking them. If you guys are interested in that, definitely check out, like I said, that code in the description box below. So let us know in the comments below what you guys thought of this episode. What, was it what you guys wanted this episode to be? Did it let you down? Did it meet all your expectations? Let us know. Make sure you guys subscribe to our YouTube channel, Podcast Now. Hit the bell icon so you guys know when these videos go up. We'll see you on the next video.